Hello, this is the intro section part 2 of my moon landing hoax NASA conspiracy series. Now in this series I may have a lot of information for you that you may not have heard of in similar series. So here we go. This video is quite a bit more summarized down than my previous video. One thing you have to realize about the moon landings in 1969, or the supposed moon landings in 1969 by NASA, is that the moon landings supposedly occurred only 7.5 years after the first man in space from the U.S. It's simply not plausible or believable. That is right out of the Weaver book, pages 195 through 97, which is a great book on this subject matter in my opinion. There's a big chasm between going 1,000 miles in space intellectually versus going 237,000 miles in outer space with mass radiation. Many people still overlook this. The spaceship, or the LM, had an aluminum thickness of a soda can. You're talking about pop cans here going through heavy radiation in outer space. That's on page 160 even in the Lagarde book. Going through heavy radiation. This does not add up. One former engineer told Bill Casing when he reported to work in Alabama, working for NASA, that he sensed the whole project was a hoax. Many other technical former workers told Casing the same thing. This was in the 1970s. It's towards the end of the Casing book. Lloyd Malin, which in my opinion is an important historical figure in the U.S., information about him is also found towards the end of the Casing book in the appendix. He is the scientist who basically proved in '66 that the Russians were faking all their spacewalks and thus their entire project when it came to the moon. There's still controversies about this now. Why did he say zero in regards to the American Apollo project? Was he afraid of NASA or the deep state? Nobody seems to know, not even me. Was he scared of NASA suing him? We really don't know. He died in obscurity. He exposed Russia, but said nothing about the U.S. when it came to Apollo. Was it possible that both Russia and the U.S. were all faking their space programs? Very, very possible that this was going on. No nation has gone more than 400 miles in space after 1972. That would have been the U.S. Space Shuttle, I believe, in the 80s. That's right out of the Keenan book and in a lot of the other research. Up until now, NASA's claiming, obviously, a lot of other things in regarding orbiting the moon. That's what they're telling you. But up to that point, we hadn't gone too far in space after 72. Why? Never really a great explanation on that from NASA. We supposedly spent 3 days on the moon in '69 in 250-degree heat. Makes zero sense. Why was the Apollo 6 mission a mess, followed by 6 perfect lunar missions or landings? What would even be the chances? This should be a major yellow flag to the public. The LM, or the spaceship, was untried in space as of July of '69. Apollo basically used this thing blind. Statisticians would say completion of the Apollo program 6 times without one failure. 85 things each time in each mission is not reality. It's probably not even possible. The LM worked the first time in manned flight? I seriously doubt it. The engines work perfect without being tried in any flight 6 times. Extreme temperatures on the moon can cause valve, press regulator, and sensor failure because of these way out temperatures. The LM, or the spaceship, looked like a kid made it. That's right out of the Weaver book, and that's my own personal opinion. In fact, I saw the spaceship in a major American museum when I was 11 years old and had doubts that this even happened. My view, it looked like a junior high science project. That's my personal opinion. Looked like a little flying saucer going through mass radiation. Engines on the LM were never tested prior to use. That's out of page 57 of the Weaver book, and some of these factoids in here are also from the Weaver book. 3/5 of the engines were ruined in test wrecks. In fact, Neil Armstrong almost died, I believe, in '67. He almost got killed on a test pad with one of these engines. The size of the LM and the lander couldn't even barely fit 3 people. On the lunar surface, the LM was powered by descent stage batteries. It's simply not believable. They are the equivalent of car batteries being used on the moon. Many people may not even know this. Major red flag. And also, in my opinion, not believable. I don't believe it. In 1967, Astro Gus Grissom said NASA was over 10 years from ever considering a moon landing. At that point, you're into about the early 1980s. Look what happened to him. Coincidence? I seriously doubt it. He exposed NASA. He was a smart man, and he was a big critic of them, even when he worked for them right up until his death. That's another massive red flag when you get into these kinds of controversies. Once again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your consideration. If you really like conspiracies, I think you would really like this series. Please make a note that all my sources are in the first video for this series for the entire series. Once again, thank you for your time. Please make a note that my next videos in the series next week are going to be on the first 2 sections or parts of the photo parts or sections. Keep in mind, there are major anomalies in every single Apollo photograph, including Apollo 11, when it comes to the supposed moon landings in 1969. You're talking tens of thousands of photos. There's errors and anomalies in every one of these photos, including Apollo 11. It is one of the biggest red flags in the entire thing. Maybe the biggest red flag in the entire system, in the entire thing that they claim actually accomplished this. So if you're really interested in that issue, don't miss my videos next week. Once again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your consideration. It's free to subscribe.